Mysterious female protagonists tend to have emotions rather than reincarnation. Lin Ye, who was tired of life, should have gone up the mountain at night to worship his parents, which was supposed to be his last act. Can a sudden soaring beam of light, mysterious jade pendant, time travel, and a new world come? Lin Ye, who had let go of everything, decided to live another life. In the new world, I have come. The strongest sword immortal in this world. What do you want to do? I will achieve it. Ninghui leaned forward and said, as long as you're still walking towards me, I'll get closer faster than you. The stunning amphibious dancer said, this body and this heart are like a attendant. The infatuated and uncontested attendant said, from now on, the rules of the world can no longer separate me from him. Peach blossom in love at first sight. Will a predetermined life also have impromptu dreams? The two best swords in the world. My sword body can dye him black, and you. Nature can also lead him towards light. Coming to the fantasy world, should I be doing well now? Chapter 1. The New World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The bright moon was in the sky, and the moonlight shone through the trees and landed on the ground. Lin Ye was wearing white short-sleeved shorts and walking on the road behind the mountain, with a delicate face carrying a hint of lingering sorrow. Looking back on the past year, I couldn't help feeling a bit confused. I finally graduated from college, but my family no longer needs it. My father and mother have both passed away. Reading requires money, and in order to make it easier for parents, I earn tuition fees during winter and summer vacations, and work part-time on campus to earn living expenses. I thought everything would get better, but my parents, who were originally in poor health, were still tired. In order to save money for Lin Ye's marriage, it's good to pass the middle school entrance examination, the college entrance examination, graduation, work, and marriage. Getting on the job, but where is the job? As his thoughts drifted, Lin Ye walked to the grave where his parents were buried together, knelt down straight, bowed and kowtowed 3 times. Mom and Dad. See you tomorrow. Lin Ye said calmly and softly. It's time to end. At this moment, the sky suddenly darkened and there was not even a trace of moonlight. Lin Ye looked up and saw that the moon, which had just hung high, had disappeared without a trace. Lin Ye didn't have time to think. A pillar of light shot straight towards the clouds higher up the mountain. The pillar of light was hazy, like fog. Isn't that where the boulder is? There might still be someone there. But how did this pillar of light appear? Although Lin Ye hesitated in her heart, she still chose to go and see. After all, she was already alone. Take out your phone, turn on the light, and Lin Ye takes a path towards the direction of the light pillar. Go up another slope, turn the corner, and finally see the source of the beam of light. Is that really there? All the forest leaves around are so familiar that they can no longer be familiar, just the giant stones surging out of the sky. Lin Ye's face was slightly stunned, but he couldn't say whether he was afraid or anything else in his heart. He slowed down his pace and slowly approached the boulder. The entire surface of the boulder continuously emitted some mist upwards, forming this huge beam of light. Facing this strange scene, Lin Ye stood in front of the boulder with a dazed expression. Can this be considered a supernatural event, aliens, or a revival of spiritual energy? Many thoughts flashed through Lin Ye's heart. In the silent heart of the past 6 months, it seemed as if he had come back to life. There was no need to be so confused, life must have changed. After being stunned for a long time, Lin Ye made up her mind and leaned towards the boulder, reaching out to touch it. Her hand felt like water and air, passing through the outermost layer of light film, and Lin Ye's palm pressed against the boulder. The mist-like light on the surface of the giant stone converged throughout the entire body of the forest leaves, and the stone wall in front of me dissipated, revealing a hole. The situation inside the cave is difficult to see clearly, but at this moment, Lin Ye is too lazy to think about anything more. Take a faint breath, stride in, pass through the cave entrance, and the space suddenly becomes clear, like a stone chamber. Lin Ye looked at this place, and although the giant stone also emitted these glowing gases inside, there seemed to be nothing special about it. Just as Lin Ye was walking around the stone chamber, looking around, something flew out of the wall. Without time to react, Lin Ye pressed it against her chest. Taking it down with your hand, it turned out to be a blue jade pendant with characters on the front, but it looked like some kind of ancient writing. Light. Luo. Lin Ye followed her intuition and slowly read out the two words. The jade pendant emitted a dazzling light that shot into Lin Ye's eyebrows. Lin Ye's eyes closed tightly, waiting for no other reaction, and a thought came to her mind. Do you want to go to a new world? Lin Ye opened his eyes and scanned for a week, realizing that the jade pendant was communicating with him, so he responded in his mind. What kind of world? A world of cultivation and destruction. Cultivate immortality. Riding the wind and wandering freely between heaven and earth, who hasn't had this dream since childhood? Lin Ye thought to herself. Can I live better than here? I will definitely do it. After asking two questions, Lin Ye had actually made up his mind. There was nothing worth lingering on in this place, and every place he looked up could only evoke Lin Ye's sadness. However, by a stroke of luck, he still asked the last question. Can we still come back here? The jade pendant did not answer the first two questions quickly, but remained silent for a while. Cannot. Okay. Lin Ye closed her eyes and looked back on the past 20 years. Due to her rural background, she had been eager to catch up for more than 10 years, but gradually fell behind many people. For the entire 20 years, except when the love affair was just beginning, Lin Ye never thought of falling in love again. These years suppressed too many thoughts in Lin Ye's heart, thinking about his hard-working parents and too many things that his peers cared about. Lin Ye felt indifferent. My only wish is to make money after graduation, earn a lot of money, and let my parents live a better life. However, this has become an empty talk, and there are too many unwillingness. My parents finally instructed Lin Ye to live well and be happy. Going here is also a choice, isn't it? Lin Ye closed her eyes and slowly opened them, calming the churning emotions in her heart. What should I do? Place the jade pendant in a vacant spot on the stone wall. Lin Ye walked to the location indicated by the jade pendant, where there was a gap in the shape of the jade pendant. Holding the jade pendant in his left hand, he prepared to put it in, then moved his hand in mid-air and retrieved it. Fang Yiyuan's life has been tough lately, right? Lin Ye remembered his college roommate, who was also from a rural family and had a younger sister. A month ago, even though I had just graduated and started working, my job was still unstable. I insisted on coming to see Lin Ye. The hangover that lasted for a few days and nights accompanied Lin Ye, always worrying about everything. He waited until his team leader called him before returning, but his tone was not very good at the time. Thinking of this, Lin Ye took out her phone, opened WeChat, clicked on Fang Yuan's chat box, and began to input information. Guess what happened to me, kid? I won the lottery ticket I bought a few days ago. I was hoping to see if it could be transferred and bought it to play. But if we agree to share the good fortune together, we'll just force you to share some. Retrieve the winning screenshot from the album and send it. Transfer 60,000 yuan, enter verification information, and confirm. You must accept this, otherwise our relationship will come to an end. I will be going to the factory recommended by my relatives, but it seems that I cannot use mobile phones there. I haven't been able to contact you in the past few years, but the salary there is very high. You work hard, and if one day I get rich, we can gather again. It's almost 12 o'clock, he should have fallen asleep, after all, it's Monday and he has to go to work. Lin Ye looked at the chat records and added a sentence of unease. If you don't want your sophomore embarrassing incident to be known to your sister, remember to accept it. Lin Ye knew that this matter was settled and pressed her phone to shut down the screen. Align the jade pendant with the groove on the stone wall with your left hand, and with a click, the jade pendant is perfectly fitted onto the stone wall. Outside the boulder, the light column that was slowly emitting upwards began to rapidly gather towards the boulder. The surface of the giant stone exudes blue light patterns, which are incredibly mysterious. The patterns are connected to form a mysterious formation. After a breath or a long time, Lin Ye put the jade pendant into the stone wall, and his thinking seemed to stop. What a magnificent spiritual energy! On the other side of the mountain, an old man with white hair and youthful appearance, walking briskly, quickly flashed towards the mountaintop. In an instant, the old man arrived at the mountaintop, and at a glance, the source of his spiritual energy was the giant stone shimmering with patterns. Is this Lingyuan stone? No, it's Tianyuan stone. Spatial fluctuations. The old man's expression, which was originally excited, sank, and he suddenly stepped on it, charging straight towards him. At this moment, the giant stone swings out a peculiar ripple in all directions. The ripple passed through the old man who had just flown down from the mountaintop, and his body froze in the air. When he regained consciousness, there was no giant rock left, and there was only one empty space in his eyes. Chapter 2. Qingluo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Ye slightly opened her eyes. Where is this? He covered his head with his right hand and looked left and right, as if someone had lived in a stone chamber before. There was something on the stone wall that shone softly. Feeling the dizziness from his head gradually fading away, Lin Yefeng slowly stood up and looked around at the stone table, stone bench, mahogany wardrobe, and carved wooden bed covered by curtains. Before Lin Ye could take a closer look, a white light on the left instantly flew into the jade pendant in his hand. Are you okay? Lin Ye hesitated and asked in her mind. It's okay. Lin Ye let go and looked to the left, where a painting scroll hung on the stone wall. The painting is painted in blue ink, as if directly captured in the painting. The characters in the painting only have the back of a woman, perhaps they should be called fairies. 3,000 green threads droop down, a light green long dress with ribbons fluttering. With a white jade sword in her hand, she bears her jade feet on the water surface, her toes washing away the water and creating ripples that are independent. After a while, Lin Ye calmed down, withdrew her gaze, and walked out of the stone chamber. The stone chamber was connected to a pool with a landscape painting screen, but further down, it was an empty space with scattered stones. Looking at the scene before her, Lin Ye suddenly said. You're not a spirit, now let's talk about your purpose. There was no sound in her mind, and Lin Ye didn't seem to be in a hurry. She slowly walked back to the bedroom, sat on a stone bench, and looked at the painting. Actually, you can do whatever your purpose is. That night I was supposed to finish my last task, and having such a memory is enough. Is it a sacrifice? Do you need my physical body? As soon as the words were spoken, a voice rang in my mind, no longer a man and woman indistinguishable like thoughts. I am indeed not a tool spirit, but I do not need your body. As for the purpose, I cannot tell you for now. Since you have come to this world, just live well. Listening to the cold voice in his mind, Lin Ye hesitated for a moment before saying. Okay, where should I go next? I'm a bit hungry. Surprised by Lin Ye's quick acceptance ability, the stone chamber became even quieter. After a while, a voice came to mind again. I actually forgot that you haven't practiced yet, but you can't go out now because it's too dangerous outside. It will be a while later. If you're thirsty or hungry, just drink. The water in the pond is a spiritual spring with many benefits, and its energy is enough for you to consume, which can also help you train your body. In the coming time, you need to start practicing. This world is different from the other side of the earth. If you want to have your own desires, cultivation and strength are the most important, but I will help you. After speaking, the jade pendant flew up and attached it to Lin Ye's forehead, and a thought poured into his mind. It lasted for about 15 minutes before flying back into Lin Ye's hand. Lin Ye's head was a bit swollen and painful, as she carefully examined what came to mind. Observing thoughts. Freedom, but apart from the name, the following paragraphs begin to struggle to understand its meaning. I know every word, but I can't even read it in a row. Don't worry, I said I would help you, you just need to listen to me. Well, how do I address you? Qingluo. Time flies by. Lin Ye woke up from cultivation wearing a white robe and exhaled a mouthful of turbid qi. It has been half a month since coming here, and Lin Ye's cultivation has finally entered the level of refining emptiness. Lin Ye doesn't know if it's slow or fast. Recalling the realm division in Qingluo's words, the cultivation of this world should belong to the category of cultivating immortals, from low to high, which is the transformation of Lianshu into Lingshu Huangji Dao Xuanhe Dao and the higher realm. At present, I have just started practicing one level of deficiency, but the effect is still very obvious. There is subtle spiritual power flowing along the meridians in the body, and at this moment, the body seems to have returned to its childhood. There is an inexhaustible energy in the body, rather than the state of resting after physical testing in college. But how long will it take to go out? The only food we have every day is the spiritual spring in the pond, which tastes sweet and delicious, without any discomfort. When Lin Ye drank it for the first time, she didn't know if she was too hungry or if the Lingquan was too delicious. She drank it vigorously for a while, but eventually fell asleep. After waking up from a coma, Qingluo's voice changed a bit, lacking the initial coldness, and he always felt a bit hesitant and uncomfortable. Has Qingluo fallen asleep again? During this half-month, sometimes Qingluo will fall asleep in Lin Ye's mind, claiming to be recuperating. Lin Ye stood up and shook his white robe with strange floral patterns, which he had taken from the cabinet. The stone chamber was still too cold for him after nightfall. There is only one white dress and this white robe in that cabinet. The white dress goes without saying, Lin Ye cannot wear it. This patterned white robe can be worn, tied around the waist, and it fits perfectly. The boots under my feet are also of perfect size, as if they were tailor-made. This white robe is also magical. After Lin Ye put it on, she didn't feel cold at night and maintained her body temperature at the most suitable temperature. She only felt comfortable all over, without knowing what material it was. Walking to the stone table, Lin Ye sat down, still thinking about all the things that came here. The sound of Qingluo came to my mind. Refining the Void Realm Level 1 is not bad. Seemingly sensing Lin Ye's question, Qingluo continued. The cultivation speed is already very fast. There were too many impurities in your body before. In the first week, it was mostly Lingquan washing your body, and it only took a week to truly start practicing. This week, from feeling spiritual energy, to introducing it into your body, and circulating along the meridians, you have made rapid progress. When can I go out then? Qingluo pondered for a while. When you practice the 5 levels of emptiness, you also need to wait for me to recover some more. It's not safe outside. Lin Ye remembered Qingluo and told him about the world. Now, this stone chamber is halfway up a mountain, and the mountain is in a secret realm. There are naturally many beasts and demons in the secret realm. If there are no means to save their lives, they can only become their prey. Looking back on the night when he just woke up, a roar like a dragon suddenly appeared, piercing through the stone wall and causing Lin Ye's heart to jump wildly, feeling dizzy. Fortunately, Qingluo intervened in time and protected Lin Ye with his spiritual power, which prevented him from fainting. However, since that night, I haven't heard any more roars. Lin Ye regained her senses and looked at the painting scroll. The only figure in the painting was the woman's back, but it made people couldn't help but imagine how beautiful her face should be. Is this you? It's so beautiful. Is that right? Qingluo didn't answer the question, but instead asked so. Without waiting for Lin Ye to answer, Qingluo spoke again, practice 1 level of emptiness. You can practice some magic moves. There is a realm in emptiness, but it's just a display of flowers. Go to the deepest stone chamber. What's there? Although puzzled, Lin Ye stood up and walked inside. When Lin Ye arrived at the stone chamber with only fragments of gravel, the close-fitting jade pendant flew out with a spiritual power, outlining something in the air. After a moment, the formation took shape, and after a burst of light, the formation slowly dissipated. A faint voice came from my mind. Can you see it now? Lin Ye opened his eyes and looked again. The stone chamber had changed. In front of Lin Ye, a sword was inserted into the ground, and there were wooden cabinets on both sides of the stone walls with many medicine bottles placed. Go pick up that sword. Lin Ye walked over and carefully examined the sword. The sword body is completely dark, with only a cold light reflected at the edges on both sides. Upon closer inspection, there is a dark red pattern in the middle of the sword body, but it is extremely inconspicuous. Lin Ye held it in his hand, and in an instant, a wave of qi from the sword entered his body, flowing around and quickly returned to the sword. At this moment, Lin Ye felt the touch of the sword in his hand become warm and moist. He raised his hand and the sword was easily pulled out. The sword was 3 feet and 6 inches long, and with a few slight swings, it seemed to fit perfectly with the forest leaves. Chapter 3. Qingluo's Sword. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Ko Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 4. Leaving the Stone Chamber. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Ko Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 5. Secret Realm Visitors. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Ko Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 6. The Valley Crisis. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Jiang Qingming looked at the valley and said after a while, from here on, I have left the outermost part of the secret realm. The monsters I will encounter next are not low-level Lingshu realm. Yu Qing walked over with a smile and said, Oh my, senior brother Jiang is always so cautious. We all have 2 high-level Lingshu realms, let alone senior brother Jiang, you have already reached the 9th level of Lingshu. When we find some opportunities in this secret realm and enter the Imperial Extreme Realm, we won't be able to seize the opportunities on the outskirts of this secret realm. Jiang Qingming shook his head and then said, let's not talk about the mysteries of the secret realm outside the Tao. Before entering the secret realm, did you see the person surrounded by the imperial family in the courtyard? I see, that person feels very proud of themselves. Yu Qing blinked in confusion and said, he has always been proud of himself, a bit arrogant. He sighed helplessly and said, that person is not simple. When I observed him with his qi and blood exposed, his physical strength was the only one I have ever seen in my life. Moreover, with the opening of the secret realm of the external world, there were too many unfamiliar faces. Humph, I'm still afraid of them. Our Daiyue sect is also a well-known entity in the entire Zhongzhou. Senior brother Xiaoyin, do you think so? The girl didn't really care about this matter. Be careful, it's always good. The senior brother named Xiaoyin's deep voice rang out, and he spoke the least along the way, just silently listening to instructions and doing things. The girl's face had just shown a gloomy expression. Brother Jiang interrupted, prepare to enter the valley. I feel spiritual energy gathering not far inside, it should be a spiritual medicine. Xiaoyin and the young girl both agreed in a low and dejected tone. After all 3 of them entered the valley, Lin Ye estimated the distance between the 2 sides and followed them into the valley. Shortly after Jiang Qingming and his group entered the valley, they felt the gradually rich spiritual energy around them. This direction. Jiang Qingming continued forward with the 2 of them. Gradually, a strange fragrance came from the air, and the 3 of them stopped their steps. Senior brother Jiang, what kind of spiritual fruit is this? Yu Qing looked at a fruit tree on the distant cliff, and the waves of strange fragrance came from above. After surveying the surrounding terrain, Jiang Qingming looked at the fruit tree and then said, "That should be the unique Zhu Ning fruit of the Taoist secret realm. Taking it directly can further solidify the spiritual energy in the body, improve the quality of spiritual power, and greatly accelerate the cultivation speed of the first three realms. Is this the Zhu Ning fruit that has been stir-fried for a price without a market? But there are so many fruits on this tree," exclaimed Yuqing, her eyes slightly widened. Jiang Qingming lowered his voice and continued, "So, there must be demon beasts guarding here. You cannot act recklessly until it is discovered." Upon hearing these words, Yuqing and Xiaoyin quietly withdrew their voices and nodded silently. Jiang Qingming closed his eyes and swept forward with his spiritual sense. Spiritual awareness is the power that cultivators begin to master when they enter the realm of spiritual emptiness. The power from the depths of their soul can be mastered by cultivators for cultivation, and cultivators can start to mobilize their spiritual energy around them. It can also be used to perceive the surroundings and has infinite magical effects. Lin Ye followed them further away and quietly watched Jiang Qingming in the dark. Although he now had strength comparable to the peak of Lingshu, he was ultimately not the true Lingshu realm. He, who has not mastered spiritual consciousness, relies mainly on Qingluo for perception. Jiang Qingming, who closed his eyes tightly, slowly opened his eyes and turned to look at Yuqing and the two of them, saying, "There is a monster's aura in the cave next to the cliff. It should be Zhu Ninggua's guardian beast, and its strength should reach the 9th level of the Lingshu realm." The two of them were also looking straight towards the cave in the direction of the cliff. After all, when they reached the 9th level of the Lingshu realm, they were not like the demon beasts they had encountered before. When their strength was similar, if they were not careful in battle, they could both be injured and fall. "Later, I will go to the cave to lead out the monster first. Xiaoyin will seize the opportunity to seize Zhu Ninggua. Junior sister, please wait here to prevent others from snatching it." Jiang Qingming quickly assigned the task to the three of them. Xiaoyin touched the storage ring on his hand and replied, "Okay." Yuqing nodded awkwardly. After all, after entering the secret realm, they directly recognized this direction and would not encounter anyone else. She said it was to prevent others from snatching, but in fact, her strength was the weakest and she was prone to accidents. "Wait for my signal." Jiang Qingming flew towards the cave. Roar. Before he could approach, a haunting wolf roar suddenly appeared, echoing in the valley, and everyone present felt a tremble in their hearts. Before a few people could think about it, a giant wolf covered in black and gray emerged from the cave, as if shrouded in shadows, devouring the light shining on it. Its body was much darker than its surroundings, and its green animal pupils were filled with ferocity, staring straight at Jiang Qingming. That is a demon wolf they have never seen before. With a roar, the demon wolf pounced on Jiang Qingming, and his aura erupted instantly. A deadly sense of crisis struck Jiang Qingming, and his expression changed. He dared not be careless, and his rich spiritual power surged out of his body, no less powerful than the powerful fluctuations of the demon wolf. With a loud shout, the majestic spiritual power surged, and a crescent arc swung out with remnants, quickly breaking through the air and slaying the demon wolf. The demon wolf unexpectedly slapped the moon arc with one claw and flew it aside. Boom! The cliff walls hit by the lunar arc made a huge noise, showcasing the impressive power of the arc. The two people who stayed in place felt the explosive aura in the air and stared fixedly at the battlefield. "It seems that senior brother Zhang's Ninghui Huadian has taken it to the next level," said Yuqing. Jiang Qingming's attack was fierce, and he fought fiercely against the wolf demon. At the same time, a ray of moonlight appeared and flickered in the sky. Xiaoyin gestured to Yuqing, and his body quickly swept out, heading straight towards the Zhuning fruit tree. As soon as Xiaoyin's figure appeared, the demon wolf noticed him, but faced with Jiang Qingming's attack, it was unable to stop Xiaoyin. In the next moment, Xiaoyin came to the front of Zhu Ninggua and gently wrapped it with spiritual power. All 6 Zhu Ninghui were stored in the storage ring. Observing Xia Yin with his spare light, Jiang Qingming finally let go and prepared to fight against the demon wolf with all his might. The spiritual power in the palm of the hand was just beginning to condense when Xia Yin heard an urgent shout in his ear. "Junior sister! Be careful behind you!" Jiang Qingming looked at Yuqing and saw a black and gray demon wolf wrapped in shadows, fiercely attacking her from behind, with ominous black energy gathering on its claws, and its power was self-evident. At the same time, a black and gray shadow shot out from behind Xia Yin, and another black and gray demon wolf appeared. How could it be? There was only the scent of a demon wolf. Jiang Qingming's face froze for a moment, and he immediately turned his head to shout at Xia Yin, "Quickly dodge!" Yuqing, who stayed in place, received the earliest reminder but didn't have time to dodge. Subconsciously, she used her spiritual power to form a spiritual shield behind her. Unfortunately, the shield was instantly shattered by the demon wolf's paw, but the shield also greatly hindered the demon wolf's attack. The demon wolf only had the remaining energy on its paw, wrapped in black air, and slapped her on the back, blasting Yuqing away like a remnant leaf. On the other side, Xia Yin only noticed the demon wolf behind Yuqing, but did not perceive the danger behind him. At the moment he heard Jiang Qingming's roar, any action was already too late. Xia Yin fully withstood the terrifying claw of the demon wolf, and the ominous black aura emanating from the 8 layers of power in the Lingxiu realm exploded on his back. In an instant, Xia Yin's robe burst and a cloud of blood mist burst out, causing him to fall from mid-air and create a deep pit on the ground. Chapter 7. Evil Wolf. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the valley. Xia Yin, who fell, smashed a deep pit into the ground, leaving his back covered in flesh and blood. The wound was deep and bone visible, and his life and death were unknown. After barely defending, Yuqing, who was being blasted off, propped herself on the ground with her hands, her mouth bleeding, and her delicate pretty face exuding a faint black aura. Everything happened in the blink of an eye, the situation reversed, and the 3-headed demon wolves surrounded them in a triangular shape, emitting a wild aura as if telling them who is the fish and meat now. When and why would there be 3 so powerful demon beasts in Lingxiu realm, which is 7 to 9 levels? Jiang Qingming watched as the black aura gradually spread from the demon wolf, and suddenly remembered the 10,000 Demons classic he had seen before. Evil Shedding Wolf. The evil shepherd wolf has a natural evil nature, haunted by demons and shadows. Its strength is much stronger than ordinary monster beasts, and it is also necessary to fight beyond its level. At the same time, it has extremely high intelligence and is accustomed to cunning things. The most terrifying thing is its innate ability. A demon that is born with it, and as its strength increases, it can transform into multiple clones, which is called demonic transformation. The evil transformation strength of the evil transformation wolf is 1 level lower than the main body in sequence. The evil transformation wolf in front of us has 9 levels of strength in the Lingxiu realm, exactly 2 evil transformations, 1 7 level, and 1 8 level. Therefore, the higher the realm of the evil shedding wolf, the more evil shedding it has, and the more terrifying its strength. Due to its evil nature, it is extremely easy to slaughter and destroy the city when it grows up. Once the outside world appears, it is basically annihilated by the joint efforts of various forces. Unexpectedly, there are almost extinct evil wolves here. Jiang Qingming's figure flashed, wanting to first solve the evil transformation on the side of Yuqing. Unfortunately, the claws of the evil molting wolf in the 9th level of the Lingxiu realm were swung out, and the burst of black energy formed a training path, instantly cutting off his path. The other 8-level evil molting also surrounded him and came behind him. Cough cough. Yuqing frowned, with a painful expression on her face. At that moment, although the spiritual shield blocked most of her strength, it was still a 7-fold evil transformation of Lingxiu. The remaining strength and black energy still left her severely injured in an instant. Now that senior brother Xie has fallen and senior brother Jiang is surrounded, there are waves of severe pain coming from behind. Yu Qing can only gasp for breath and struggle to stand up, facing the sevenfold evil transformation in the Lingxiu realm. Yu Qing's strength is only sixfold in the Lingxiu realm, and with serious injuries, she doesn't know how to defeat this evil transformation. Jiang Qingming, on the other hand, is surrounded by the body in the eightfold evil transformation, which is also more ominous than auspicious. Sure enough. Jiang Qingming's face turned ugly. His hand touched the storage ring, but there was no response. The innate evil energy of the evil wolf cut off his connection with the storage ring. The three of them suddenly fell into a desperate situation. Yu Qing no longer had the playful expression she had at the beginning, her face tinged with a faint black aura, and her hands trembled with pain, barely making dharma marks. "Junior sister, hold on a bit, I'll come over right away," Jiang Qingming said in a deep voice, but he was also aware that it was difficult for him to pass. The strength of the evil shepherd wolf had just been fully demonstrated, which was not comparable to the ordinary Lingxiu 9 heavens, and even had a hint of the power of the imperial extreme realm. The black evil energy is about to spread throughout the valley, and there is still an eightfold evil transformation lurking behind me. Even if I try my best, it will be difficult to solve it in time. Jiang Qingming's face darkened slightly, and he took a deep breath as if he had made up his mind. He whispered in a slow voice, "The moon travels with 1,000 laurels, and his body is like glass. The hands are imprinted, and spiritual power emanates from the body in a strange way, night flower crossing." The spiritual energy around him condensed into a moonlight on the surface of his body. The moonlight was like white jade, emitting a faint and pure radiance. His expression also calmed down and became indifferent and sacred. The moonlight all over his body filled the sky, and his momentum surged again, rushing towards the black energy sweeping around him. He lifted a bundle of solid moonlight in his hand and charged towards the evil wolf. The moon shines silently, but it makes the evil wolf instinctively feel uneasy. Hui Shou. With the formation of Yu Qing's Dharma seal, a white cloud-like barrier appeared. Yu Qing, who had barely completed the seal, slowly sat down, and her back, which was originally moon-white, had already been dyed blood-red. At the moment when the barrier is formed, the evil energy condensed by the evil transformation rushes out, accompanied by the figure of the evil transformation. Kaka. The evil transformation with evil energy launched an extremely fierce attack, and the sky was filled with dark pressure that made people gasp for breath. The barrier was about to collapse in an instant. Yu Qing looked at the barrier with a worried face. Click. The barrier was completely shattered, and the black evil energy covered the only moonlight in the night. The surroundings of Yu Qing were pitch black, and the stirring evil energy seemed to engulf her in an instant. She closed her eyes helplessly, but the imagined pain did not come. Zheng. A sword roar echoed through the entire valley. Yu Qing opened her eyes slightly, with white light shining in her pupils. Looking ahead, she saw the back of a man in a white robe. He held a black sword and blocked Xiachu's right claw in the air, which was naturally Lin Ye following in the dark. Roar. The attack of the evil transformation was blocked and became even more fierce. With a roar, the evil energy instantly gathered in its claws from around, pressing down with force. The strong wind driven by it made Yu Qing unable to lift her hand and block it slightly. The black sword pattern in Lin Ye's hand remained motionless. In an instant, he let out a soft drink, and the sword sank slightly. Then, as if nothing had happened, he pushed the evil molting claw back and chopped it back. The sharp sword energy rushed out like a bamboo. The evil molting claw was directly cut off, and blood mist exploded from its body. Yu Qing's mouth slightly opens. The sword energy remained undiminished, as the black air that covered the sky opened the entrance. The bright moonlight shone down again, illuminating the two and shining brilliantly. This is a scene reflected in Yu Qing's eyes. The white light rising from Yue Qing's unnoticed pupils gradually faded, as if she had not even noticed it. The ferocious evil transformation that fell back to the ground in the distance stared fiercely at Lin Ye, emitting threatening roars. However, the blood that spilled on the ground and the footsteps that kept retreating revealed its fear. Before the evil transformation could catch a breath, Lin Ye's feet moved and he came to it in an instant. The evil transformation didn't even have time to react. With a single sword, it was as fast as lightning, directly breaking through the protective black energy of the evil transformation, piercing its head, and killing with one move. Xie Tuo fell to the ground and died. Lin Ye glanced at Yu Qing, who was sitting on the ground in a daze. Apart from the blood-red area behind her, she was still conscious and should not be in any major trouble for the time being. Lin Ye then let go of her worries. Lin Ye looked towards Jiang Qingming in the distance. Although he had greatly increased his strength using secret techniques, Yu Hua continued to attack the evil shepherd wolf, but the evil energy spreading around him continued to dissolve his Yu Hua. When facing the enemy, he had to be distracted to guard against the evil shepherd, and for a while, the two sides were deadlocked. Yu Hua was once again scattered by the evil energy of the evil shepherd wolf. At this moment, the evil shepherd wolf's move was exhausted, and the sword light, like a mirror, pierced through the air. The black energy protecting her body could not hinder her at all. In an instant, a wound was cut and blood splattered, causing her body to fall backwards. Boom! The evil shedding wolf was cut into the cliff by the sword's power, howling out in sorrow. Jiang Qingming, who was carrying the moonlight, looked at Lin Ye with a handsome face. He had black hair tied high and was dressed in a simple but secretly embroidered white robe. He held a black long sword and exuded a faint aura of sharpness all over his body. Even in the moonlight state, he felt a tingling pain, but fortunately, he seemed to be friends rather than enemies. The dust and smoke at the cliff wall dissipated, revealing the figure of a demonic wolf. A huge wound almost tore open its entire right body, bleeding profusely. What a terrifying sword! Jiang Qingming's heart twitched slightly, and then he spoke loudly, "Thank you, my friend. I can't maintain my condition for a long time at this time. I hope you can help me to prevent future troubles." Upon hearing this, Lin Ye nodded and charged towards the evil shepherd wolf. With a horizontal sword, the evil shepherd wolf's claws came with evil energy, but they were defeated by Lin Ye and instead were shaken open. Seemingly unwilling, the evil shedding wolf pounced again, and the evil energy in the valley condensed into terrifying wolf heads, covering the sky and earth. Each evil energy of the wolf's capital slightly twisted the space, directly attacking the forest leaves. Jiang Qingming beside him had a serious expression on his face, and his hands began to gather in the moonlight, ready to take action at any time. Yue Qing kept her mouth tightly closed, looking worried at the battlefield. Faced with countless evil wolf heads rushing towards him, Lin Ye made a sword finger with his left hand, swiping over the body of the Lin Yuan's sword, and a cold breath wafted out from Lin Yuan. "This is..." Jiang Qingming and Yu Qing both trembled all over, and a chill hit their bodies, as if they were being targeted by something terrifying. "This sword should slay all evil spirits." The cold and piercing voice came from Lin Ye's mouth. A crescent-like sword was cut out, with a faint black light, not like the black-gray of the demonic wolf, but deep as if devouring all the light. The wolf's head, covering the sky and earth, faced this sword with a slight touch and disappeared, as if this extremely fierce wolf's head was just an illusion. Slay off the evil wolf head, and the sword light slowly dissipates. Upon seeing this, the evil shepherd wolf was well aware of the gap between the two sides, and if he stayed any longer, he would only wait to die. He quickly retreated. Seeing the evil shedding wolf pull away, Lin Ye bullied him and rushed up at an extremely fast speed, making it impossible for the evil shedding wolf to run away. Holding the Lin Yuan sword, the chi of the evil wolf retreated step by step, constantly adding new wounds to his body. The Lin Ye sword's momentum is getting stronger and stronger. Finally, the evil wolf continuously lost its strength, dragging it down. It could no longer dodge quickly, but the momentum of the forest leaves reached its peak. Surrender. This sword fell in an instant, illuminating the sky. The fierce wind howled, and its sharpness was unstoppable. Shit. Along with the appearance of invisible sword marks on the stone wall, the evil molting wolf was cut into 2 pieces. Did you not control your strength properly? But it's okay, Lin Ye withdrew his sword and looked at Jiang Qingming on the side. Jiang Qingming saw Lin Ye slay the wolf's head with 1 sword, and although his face couldn't help but be surprised, he turned his head and attacked Xiechuo. Faced with Jiang Qingming, who had used the secret technique, the 8-fold evil transformation quickly collapsed. However, with only a few moves, he was hit by the pouring moonlight and fell to death. At this point, the evil wolf had completely died, and Jiang Qingming felt relieved. The moonlight on his body gradually faded, and his face was slightly pale. Jiang Qingming arched his hand at Lin Ye and said solemnly, "Friend, please help me protect my junior sister. I need to go check on my junior brother's injuries." Lin Ye nodded to show understanding. Jiang Qingming turned to Xiaoyin on the ground, while Lin Ye returned to Yueqing's side. "How are you doing now? Can your spiritual power still function?" Lin Ye's gentle voice reached Yuqing's ear. "Hey." Yuqing was taken aback for a moment. This person was powerful and wielded a fierce and sharp sword. As soon as he appeared, he would slay Xietuo. He thought he was a cold sword cultivator, but he didn't expect, "No, it's okay." As she finished speaking, her slightly pale pretty face twisted in pain, and the crisis disappeared. The pain that had been pressed down during her life and death suddenly surged up, making her complexion change instantly. Lin Ye took out a pill from his backpack and handed it to Yueqing, who looked pitiful to me. "This is the complete recovery pill, it should be very useful," he said. Yueqing reached out to take the pill and couldn't help but shrink as she touched Lin Ye's fingers. "Thank you," she said. "Can I help you prescribe medicine?" Lin Ye asked softly. "Okay." Yueqing hesitated for a moment before whispering her agreement. At this moment, her internal injuries were indeed too severe. Upon hearing this, Lin Ye walked behind her and slowly placed his palm on her right shoulder. In fact, there are pills in Yueqing's storage ring, but for some reason, if she refused, she couldn't say it. Now, she has even agreed to let this person help her prescribe the medicine. A warm feeling emanated from her shoulders. This was her first time in such close contact with the opposite sex, and from time to time, there was a male aura that seemed like an illusion. Yueqing always felt a strange feeling spreading in her body. Yueqing, who was so shy that she closed her eyes, also dyed her cheeks pink. After taking the fudan, the peaceful and warm spiritual power on the shoulders entered the body. The medicinal power of the fudan dissipated in the abdomen, and the black energy invading the body was quickly resolved like snow encountering spring breeze. The spiritual power was restored at an incredible speed, and a slight itch came from the injured back. Yuqing's eyes suddenly opened. These were several grades of elixirs. Originally, she took them with a heart that could not disappoint her kindness, but now it seems to be another kind of kindness. If this injury is treated with the healing medicine she brought, it may take several days to recover. All right. When Yueqing's mind was wandering, the warmth on her right shoulder had already disappeared. Chapter 8. Healing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The body injury has almost completely recovered, and the excess medicine has also sunk deep into the body. Yuqing looked at Lin Ye and whispered, "Thank you." "It's okay," Lin Ye replied with a smile. Yueqing quickly turned her head, her face burning a bit, wondering what was wrong with her. When in the sect, there were not many handsome Tianjiao, but also many Tianjiao from other factions, all of whom were powerful and had expressed their feelings to Yueqing. They expressed their admiration for her, who had already become extraordinary in appearance and was not sure how attractive she would be in the future. However, the falling flowers intentionally flowed mercilessly, and Yueqing only found those men annoying. But now, Yueqing's heart was beating fast, and she couldn't say anything in her daze. At this moment, Lin Ye could only see Yueqing's profile, which was fair and rosy. Her delicate and beautiful profile was extremely charming under the moonlight. Lin Ye subconsciously followed her past temperament and didn't speak anymore. Quickly, Jiang Qingming brought Xie Yin over and glanced at the younger sister who was no longer lively as before, but instead lowered her head. He asked anxiously, "Junior sister, how is the injury?" I'm fine. He just gave me a pill, and I'm almost fully recovered." Yuqing woke up from a dream and realized that she hadn't asked Lin Ye's name yet, so she had to sneak a careful look at her. Upon hearing this, Jiang Qingming put down Xie Yin on the side and arched his hand at Lin Ye, saying, "Thank you very much for your help. Otherwise, all three of us would probably have to die here today. The evil shepherd wolf is too eerie. When evil energy permeates, the storage ring cannot be used. If we could use the spirit treasure, perhaps we wouldn't be so embarrassed." After sighing, Jiang Qingming continued, "I am Jiang Qingming from the lower Daiyu sect. These are my junior brothers and sisters, Xie Yin and Yuqing, and I have not yet asked for their names. There's no need to be like this, taking action is a matter of course. My name is Lin Ye." Lin Ye quickly waved his hand and said. "Anyway, these favors will definitely be repaid in the future," Jiang Qingming insisted. Yuqing also looked up at Lin Ye and agreed, Then Jiang Qingming's face showed a worried expression, and his tone lowered a bit. "Xie Yin may not be able to hold on for too long. Xie Chui's claw directly shattered most of his spine, and his internal organs were almost all damaged. Even if he took healing pills, it was difficult to save him. Now he is relying solely on spiritual power to continue his life." On the side, Yueqing's lips lightly parted, opening her mouth to speak, but she still remained silent. "Brother Lin Ye, I dare to ask, is there any pill that used to treat Sister Yu? Although Sister Yu's injury is milder than Brother Xie, it is difficult for ordinary pills to recover so quickly. If there is still the same pill, Senior Brother Xie should be able to save his life. Of course, I will definitely not use elixirs in vain. Afterwards, I will do my best to supply things of equal value." After speaking, Jiang Qingming did not continue to look at Lin Ye, but walked back to Xie Yin to guard, obviously wanting Lin Ye to make his own decision. Lin Ye was stunned halfway through and began to communicate with Qingluo. "Qingluo, what level of pill is Wanfu Dan? Is it considered precious?" "A 7th grade moderate pill with mild properties, you can barely use it, but it's not too precious," said Qingluo in his mind. "What about them?" When you took the pill before, I wanted you to exchange it for a lower level one. But when I thought about it, it would be good for you to get to know this world. I didn't expect this girl to be quite kind. These 3 people are only in the Lingshu realm, so it would be good if they could use the 4th level pill. Perhaps they have only heard of the 7th level pill. Can I still give it to you?" Upon hearing this, Lin Ye knew he had some impulsiveness at first. These pills were precious, but Qingluo usually allowed him to be casual, so he didn't care about the value of these pills. After all, it was an outsider. Giving him the worst 6th grade malaria elixir, although it was detoxifying, was also effective enough. Just tell them it was a 5th grade sultan. So, after only a few tens of breaths, Lin Ye took out the anti-miasma pill and handed it to Jiang Qingming, saying, "This is the 5th grade Fudan. There is no need to say much, saving someone is important." "Thank you, Brother Lin Ye." Jiang Qingming looked at Lin Ye excitedly and said. "Is it different? Previously, it was a round and pure white pill, but now I'm giving this pill to Senior Brother Jiang with purple patterns. It's not a type of pill, is it?" Yuqing looked at Lin Ye walking by her side and couldn't help but think that Lin Ye was a good person. Her body was still warm now, and she must have her own reasons. She wouldn't harm senior brother Xie. Looking up again, Lin Ye blinked at her and Yu Qing quickly turned her head. How could he be a light-hearted person, but... It doesn't seem like he hates it. Yu Qing seems to hear her heartbeat, so fast. The residual medicinal power in her body is constantly nourishing her body. How could this be a 5th-grade pill? Is it too kind to me? Lin Ye originally wanted Yu Qing to keep the secret, not to mention that the pills he gave were different, but as soon as he blinked, Yu Qing turned his head expressionless and didn't look at him. Sometimes girls are really difficult to understand, even though they felt like they got along well before, Lin Ye sighed in her heart. Different from the strange atmosphere on this side, Jiang Qingming, who had obtained the restoration of the Sultan, wrapped his elixir in spiritual power and let Xie Yin, who was unconscious, take it down. He used his spiritual power to help him heal his injuries. As soon as the anti-miasma pill entered the body, the raging black energy in Xie Yin's body was instantly destroyed and quickly dissipated. The black color on Xie Yin's face also gradually faded away. With the complete resolution of the black aura, Jiang Qingming's face finally showed a happy expression. Can you save him by only dissolving the black qi? Lin Ye, who was watching, asked curiously in her heart. Although Huamiao pill is mainly used for detoxification, there are still some medicinal effects that are used for recovery after detoxification, which is more than enough for the injuries in the Lingshu realm. Qingluo's voice answered Lin Ye's doubts. Not long after, Jiang Qingming withdrew his hand and took several healing medicines from the storage ring, taking them orally and applying them externally. After a while of operation, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. After finishing his work, he came to Lin Ye's side and said, "Junior brother Xie's life has been saved. That Sultan is really powerful. He has completely eliminated the black energy in junior brother's body and stabilized his internal injuries." Jiang Qingming, who had regained his composure, carefully scrutinized Lin Ye. He was dressed in a white robe with dark embroidered patterns, carrying a cloth wrapped around his back and a wooden sword box. His half-length black hair was tied high with a piece of green grass, revealing Zhang Po's handsome face. Lin Ye, who was just collecting his sword, couldn't feel the fierce momentum he had before. His cultivation seemed to only have the feeling of refining the virtual realm, but the body of the evil wolf was still nearby. Lin Ye's strength was obviously not as simple as it appeared on the surface. Although Lin Ye felt a little strange in his heart, Jiang Qingming temporarily let go of his doubts and sincerely said to Lin Ye, "The three of us came to the secret realm of the outer world to find an opportunity to break through the extreme realm. If it's convenient for Lin Ye, you can tell us what you're looking for this time in the secret realm. Perhaps we can help." "I came to the secret realm of the external world mainly." For the sake of experience, Lin Ye said with a slight pause. Before he could finish speaking, a light Luo's voice came to his mind. "By the way, look for the heavenly materials and earth treasures used for cultivation." "By the way, look for the heavenly and earthly treasures used for cultivation," Lin Ye said with ease. "I see, then we can go together." Jiang Qingming nodded, seeming to have entered the secret realm to experience and search for cultivation items. After all, the external world has not yet discovered the chance of the external secret realm, and there may be a shocking opportunity. Lin Ye lowered her head slightly and pretended to be thinking. After a while, she nodded and said, "Okay, we can take care of each other together." Upon hearing this, Yu Qing, who was secretly observing on the side, seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. She also turned over and didn't know what to think, but occasionally glanced at Lin Ye. Jiang Qingming immediately smiled. After all, Lin Ye's strong strength before was solid. If he could travel together, this journey would be much safer. "The body of the evil shedding wolf has not been searched yet, go and take a look." Jiang Qingming smiled. Lin Ye and Jiang Qingming went to the front of the body of the evil shedding wolf together. The evil shedding wolf was cut in half by a sword, but the demon pill was preserved. Surprisingly, it was a pure white and flawless demon pill. The demon pill was handed to Lin Ye, who was watching by Jiang Qingming, and he said, "Take it, this is yours." Lin Ye packed a medicine bottle and put it in her backpack. Jiang Qingming's expression was slightly stunned. He realized that Lin Ye didn't even have a storage ring in his hands, but he didn't say anything. He continued to take off the wolf skin and said, "Clothes made from evil molting wolves can greatly reduce one's own aura. If combined with hidden techniques, they are even more powerful and cannot be found in the same realm. Even higher level ones are difficult to detect, but more importantly, they are rare. Evil molting wolves are too rare. The 2 evil molts of the evil molting wolf have now turned into 2 empty skins. After Jiang Qingming obtains them, he plans to give all 3 to Lin Ye." Lin Ye thought about her cloth bag and quickly said, "This one's not needed. How can this work?" Jiang Qingming's gaze shifted slightly, and Lin Ye seemed to have no storage ring. "Here's this one for you," he said. Jiang Qingming handed Lin Ye the most complete picture of the evil transformation he had killed. Lin Ye had no choice but to accept it and put it in a cloth bag. Chapter 9. Unstoppable Thoughts. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The bright moon hangs high in the sky, and the night is already deep. The 2 people who had finished collecting the battlefield returned to Xia Yin's place, and Yu Qing was guarding nearby. Seeing the 2 of them return, Yu Qing smiled and said, "How about, is there anything good on the evil shepherd wolf?" Jiang Qingming nodded and said, "Of course there is. Just the evil shedding wolf skin is already valuable, but Lin Ye is only willing to accept a wolf skin and demon pill." "That's it," Yu Qing's eyes flickered slightly. Behind Jiang Qingming, Lin Ye revealed the beast meat in his hand, which was obviously taken from the body of the evil slaughtering wolf. Yu Qing looked at the beast meat on his hand, then turned her eyes to him. Their eyes met. Jiang Qingming continued, "Because Xia Yin has not yet regained his mobility, he needs to rest here tonight." When Lin Ye found out, he prepared to barbecue and took the meat from the evil shepherd wolf back. Upon hearing this, Yu Qing nodded with an expectant expression and said to Lin Ye, "Lin Ye, you still know how to barbecue. In these days of entering the secret realm, I can only eat some food that I bring myself." Lin Ye smiled and said, "You're quite good at it. Let's eat together later." "Excuse me," Jiang Qingming said and went to take care of Xia Yin. For the convenience of operation, Lin Ye only took half of the meat of the evil shedding wolf and cleaned it before bringing it back. He skillfully peeled the fresh wood branches, strung the meat of the evil shedding wolf, and stood on the ground. "I'll find some dry wood to start a fire," Lin Ye stood up and said. As soon as she finished speaking, Yu Qing, who had been watching Lin Ye skewer wolf meat, hurriedly stood up and said, "I'll go with you." Then, with agile movements, they jumped behind Lin Ye and walked towards the nearby forest. Jiang Qingming, who was guarding Xia Yin, silently watched as the 2 of them left. Although Lin Ye appeared somewhat strange in some aspects, he ultimately saved himself and his group. During the brief interaction before, Jiang Qingming also believed that Lin Ye was not a villain, so he let Yu Qing go. "Is this okay?" In the forest, Yu Qing looked at the leaves and waved the dry branch she was holding in her hand. Lin Ye looked at the branches and saw that they were too small. However, looking at the bright eyes that were staring at her, she changed her mind and said, "You can put them at the bottom of the fire to start a fire." "Okay." As soon as I heard it was functional, Yu Qing put it in the storage ring. Sensing the joyful voice of Yu Qing, Lin Ye couldn't help but say with a slight smile, "For barbecue, it's best to use wood of sufficient age, preferably fruit wood. Come with me. The forest leaves that I just looked around have already seen the right dry wood, which is the most suitable fruit wood. The fruit wood is already the size of an embrace, but unfortunately it has been dead for a long time, and the tree body has dried up, but it is just right for grilling meat." Bang! Lin Ye drew his sword and swung it, causing the fruit tree to fall suddenly. With another sword, he took off a piece and used it to roast meat. "Let's go back," Lin Ye said to Yu Qing. Hey, Lin Ye, why are you carrying it? It's inside the storage ring. Yu Qing looked at Lin Ye carrying a piece of fruit tree. I don't have a storage ring, Lin Ye said helplessly. Lin Ye's faint shadow flickered in her heart, and she thought of something, sighing softly. Oh, that's it, Yu Qing lowered her head awkwardly. Then use my outfit. He seems to have never used the storage ring before. Every time he takes something, he carries a cloth bag on his back. Yu Qing, who is thinking about this, collects that piece of fruit tree into the storage ring. Looking at this exquisite young girl, who was about 16 or 17, so well behaved and charming, Lin Ye felt good and said, thank you then. It's okay, let's go back. Yu Qing quickly waved her hand. Lin Ye, who turned around, didn't see the moon green and pink earlobes. Watching Lin Ye gradually walk away, Yu Qing quickly chased after her, hesitated for a moment, and approached a bit. Seeing that Lin Ye had no reaction, she leaned closer and followed. Of course, Lin Ye noticed Yu Qing's small movements, but due to his past life, he didn't think much about these things, and now it's the same, so it doesn't seem unnatural. The light luo in Lin Ye's eyebrows seemed to be pondering something upon seeing this. Not long after, the two returned to their temporary camp and noticed that Jiang Qingming had returned. Looking up, they saw that Yu Qing and Lin Ye were too close, but only briefly stopped before smiling and nodding at Lin Ye. On the contrary, Yu Qing, who had been almost close to her all the way, blushed slightly on her cheeks and slightly distanced herself. Lin Ye signaled to Yu Qing to take out the fruit tree and small branches. After taking it out, seeing the comparison between the two on the ground, Yu Qing couldn't help but know that this small twig was useless. Lin Ye is a gentle person, Yu Qing thought to herself. Chop the fruit tree into small pieces, break the branches, and set up a fire with the forest leaves. Ignite the fire. The flames ignited the fruit wood fire, and Lin Ye turned the wolf meat into a thin knife and smoked it with fire. The meat was officially roasted until the fruit wood was burned into charcoal. After finishing his work, Lin Ye looked at Yu Qing beside him with a blank expression and asked, Yu Qing, what's wrong? Yu Qing looked straight at Lin Ye and asked incredulously, Lin Ye, can you directly control the fire? Lin Ye felt a bit strange in his heart, but he still said, isn't the ignition technique a basic technique? As Lin Ye spoke, another flame burst out of her hand, warm and pure. No, it's different. You're like a flame condensed by rules, which can only be used when you reach the peak of the imperial extreme realm and understand the Dao Xian. Yu Qing continued, explaining that she had seen the peak master use similar Taoist techniques. In the previous realm, the use of elements in moves was mostly generated through changes in spiritual energy, or through the cultivation of special spiritual power in martial arts. Looking at the serious Yu Qing, Lin Ye couldn't say anything to refute, only asked Qingluo, is the ignition technique so special? It's quite unique. As she said, the flames condensed by rules can only be used in the Taoist realm. This is due to your cultivation of the technique Guanxiang. This girl's perception of spiritual energy is far beyond that of ordinary people. Qingluo said. This is a special cultivation technique for me, Lin Ye said to Yu Qing, who was still explaining. That's it. Yu Qing nodded and stopped speaking, without asking any further questions. After this episode, some of the fruit trees turned into fiery red charcoal, which allowed them to start grilling meat. The two sides of the fire were split into brackets, and wolf meat was strung on wooden branches, slowly flipping over. Yu Qing, who had nothing to do, sat beside Lin Ye holding her knees, watching her fiery black pupils as she carefully grilled meat. Aren't you going to change clothes? Lin Ye Yuguang noticed the young girl staring at her, her moon-white clothes on the back, and her blood had already solidified into deep black. It's not convenient here, going to the forest alone. I'm a bit scared. Yu Qing stared at Jiang Qingming's side, then opened her bright eyes. Her black beautiful eyes looked at Lin Ye and hesitated, saying, Yu Qing, for some reason, felt closer to Lin Ye the more she got along with him. Although she has a good relationship with her senior siblings, she only stays with her fellow senior siblings and does not want them to interfere in her personal affairs. But the Lin Ye in front of her inexplicably caught her attention, and she couldn't help but want to let Lin Ye know more about her. What is this? Yu Qing couldn't help but think. Lin Ye pondered for a moment, also thinking of her concerns. This is very common in this world, and the cultivators here seem almost the same. So she said, after finishing the barbecue, find a suitable place. Yu Qing, who received a response, nodded happily and answered. Chapter 10. Second Friend. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The wolf meat on the grill made a sizzling sound, emitting a fragrance. Lin Ye took out the seasoning she had put in a lot of effort to make, including salt, spicy powder, and sesame powder, and shook them one by one. The seasoning was evenly sprinkled on the barbecue, and the smell of the barbecue became even more enticing. Yu Qing looked eagerly at Lin Ye's grilled meat, and the rich aroma made her swallow her saliva. Jiang Qingming walked over and exclaimed, Lin Ye has also studied culinary skills. I can't even delve into it, I'll become proficient by baking regularly. Lin Ye divided the roasted meat into 3 parts and skewered them with the sliced wooden branches. Here it is. Lin Ye gestured for the 2 to hold it, and Yu Qing reached out to take the smaller string. Jiang Qingming also took one, and the remaining string was Lin Ye's. Taking the skewers, Yu Qing blew on them with her small mouth and couldn't wait to eat them. The slightly crispy skin was covered in seasoning, and the meat underneath was soft and juicy. Delicious, Lin Ye, your grilled meat is much more delicious than what I had before at Qingluo, Yu Qing said while eating. Eat more, The grilled meat was recognized, and of course Lin Ye was happy. Lin Ye took a bite and it was indeed delicious. It was the pinnacle of his barbecue during this period. Do you also taste Qingluo? Lin Ye asked in her heart. The familiar coolness struck, and when I opened my eyes again, the taste of Lin Ye changed to a bit beautiful. Looking at the perspective, Lin Ye couldn't help but marvel at the temperament of a person. It's in the bones and not in the skin, and even a different male body can't suppress it. The grilled meat was still a bit hot, and Yu Qing couldn't bear to stop. Soon, a whole string of grilled meat was eaten. With some oil stains on her lips, Yu Qing smiled and reached out for another string. Jiang Qingming, who was eating elegantly, chuckled. After finishing a string of Lin Ye, she withdrew and put down the skewers in her hand, then picked out another string for Yu Qing. Lin Ye doesn't know which sect he comes from, and Daiyu sect is also considered a considerable sect in Zhongzhou, but he doesn't know where a Tianjiao with such superb swordsmanship came from. Jiang Qingming added a string to himself and asked casually. People who use black swords are also extremely rare in Zhongzhou, let alone those in white clothes and black swords, which do not require storage, rings, backs, or cloth bags, such a prominent feature. Lin Ye waited for a while, swallowed the meat in his mouth, and then said, to be ashamed, I don't know what sect it is. There is only one leader in the sect, and I haven't seen anyone outside. It's just. I've been learning swordsmanship since I've been in this world, and when I'm hungry, I'll find my own food. This is my first time entering a secret realm, that's why I'm like this. After speaking, I patted the cloth backpack. Lin Ye naturally cannot reveal the true origins of Qingluo and himself, such a half-true and half-false statement is the best. I see, it must be a secluded sect that would rather be lacking than overindulging its disciples. During this trip to the secret realm, Lin Ye, you are sure to make a big splash, Jiang Qingming said with a smile. Lin Ye added another string to Yu Qing, who was eating the skewers seriously, and shook her head lightly, saying, making a name for oneself is not the purpose, but the process of seeking opportunities and opportunities. Jiang Qingming's eyes flickered before continuing, I never expected Brother Lin to have such a nature. Your name will definitely be in Zhongzhou in the future. I'll borrow your auspicious words, Lin Ye smiled. Unfortunately, I didn't bring too many storage rings this time, otherwise it would have been more convenient for you. It's okay, I'll take care of it. During the conversation, half of the grilled meat was eaten, and the energy contained in the wolf meat dissolved in the three of them, gradually transforming into spiritual power, slowly increasing their strength. After all, they were evil wolves with 9 levels of Ling Su, and it was not surprising to have this effect. Yueqing touched her stomach, which was a bit full, and then said with a calm expression, "Senior brother Jiang, I'm going to the waterfall." Jiang Qingming thought for a moment and understood what Yueqing wanted. But the next words left him stunned. "Lin Ye, can you accompany me over there?" Yueqing looked at Lin Ye and let out a casual voice. Jiang Qingming couldn't control himself for a moment and suddenly turned around, staring at the two people incredulously. "Me? Yes, it's possible, but won't it be inconvenient to go?" Lin Ye was also stunned by Yueqing's words. "No, I'm afraid." "Come with me." Yueqing reached out and grabbed Lin Ye's wrist, but Lin Ye thought it was inappropriate and initially resisted. "Let's go with her," Qingluo, who had been silent all along, suddenly spoke. So Lin Ye gathered her strength and let her pull her away. Jiang Qingming, who only raised his hand slightly and hesitated to speak, turned around and returned to Xia Yin's place as he watched the two of them disappear. The gentle breeze blew through the forest, and the long hair of the moon was fluttering with an elegant fragrance. It seemed that the forest leaves had not yet been actively led by a woman like this. Yueqing's figure is light and soft, with the lingering fragrance of Lin Ye's nose and the warm and smooth touch of his wrist stimulating his nerves. Lin Ye's thoughts couldn't drift too far, so they were pulled back. Yueqing slowed down and walked side by side with Lin Ye, slowly speaking, "Can you help me guard it later? I want to change clothes." Facing her clarifying eyes, Lin Ye was puzzled as to why Yueqing trusted her more. We just met, no different from strangers, that's not appropriate." "You shouldn't trust others like that," Lin Ye said of her own thoughts. "Will you hurt me?" Yueqing suddenly looked straight at him and asked back. "No," Lin Ye shook her head and said. Although she was not considered a saint in the past, she, like many people on earth who follow the rules, has a simple and kind heart. "That's right," said Yueqing silently, then the conversation changed. "Actually, I'm different from ordinary people, you know. When I was born to interact with people for a while, I could feel familiar and distant, as well as some other premonitions. I used to, but I've been looking at you all the time. You're different from people in this world. Being closer to you makes my body and mind more comfortable and stable. So, can we get closer together?" This statement seemed to be the result of Yueqing's courage, speaking softly and slowly. The hand holding Lin Ye's wrist trembled slightly, but he didn't let go. He turned his face and continued walking forward. Of course, Lin Ye understood what her words meant, which was a situation he had tried to avoid. The two walked side by side, and the moonlight fell through the gaps in the forest. The wind blows not only leaves. Now that Lin Ye has come to this world, all concerns have disappeared, and there is no longer any worries. Perhaps it is a good start for change, and when he came, he also thought the same way, right? Stopping to think, Lin Ye looked at the calm and forced calm girl. Although she walked steadily, her eyelashes trembled lightly. "Then we are friends, you are my second friend in this world." Lin Ye's words slowly spoke, accompanied by Yueqing's tighter grip on her wrist. Yueqing stopped her steps and smiled sweetly, "Second friend. We will become very good friends." After speaking, he pulled Lin Ye forward and walked briskly. That's it, Lin Ye still avoids some meanings and only says friends, leaving a lot of room, but from the results, it seems quite appropriate. The light Luo Su shadow in the center of the eyebrows furrowed lightly, as if not quite satisfied with something. "Lin Ye, did you only have one friend before?" It seems that because of the answer just now, Yu Qing was in a good mood, and her tone couldn't conceal her relaxed and happy mood. Well, before, there was only a friend in my sect who taught me how to cultivate. Well, then we need to make more friends in the future. Yu Qing paused briefly and continued speaking in a lower voice. No, it doesn't seem to work. But even so, it doesn't seem to work either. Yu Qing's face was full of entanglement. Why do you say that? Lin Ye asked her curiously. I'll tell you later. Anyway, we're friends now. Yu Qing was slightly flustered.